Hello everybody, Screen Spelunkers here, and today we're going to be doing a little bit different of a video. I've been playing a lot of PokemonUnite, and Season 4 just dropped, and with it came a major balance change. So I thought, hey, what the heck, I'll make my own tier list. I've decided not only to have the letters of each tier, but a reason as to why I'm putting it there. So, we'll start off with the starters, and we'll move on down. You know, I'll probably do a whole video just based on the starters, but for now, Pikachu, I'm going to put into bad. Whoops, there we go. It's not a very strong Pokemon. It's, you know, if you've never played a video game before, it very helps out. It's, you know, it's a good solid choice. A lot of its moves either can't miss or just have insane stunning and CC abilities. You can really stop a crowd with that. You know, Electro Ball does good damage, but you're never going to be able to one-shot someone. It's very hard to pick someone out of a crowd. Thunderbolt, another very good option, does some nice stunning. Talonflame, yeah, definitely meta-defining. Very high damage, very high maneuverability. A bit frail, but when you can just jump off the map and leave the plane of existence, it's really hard to follow. Eldegoss, I'm also going to put in bad tier. It's just really outclassed by Hoopa in terms of being a supporter. Like, it's not bad. It gets really good healing and gets really good defense, but Hoopa can do everything it can, plus it has the teleporting shenanigans. Charizard, solid choice. Overall, kind of feels like a below-average character in all aspects of the game, but its Unite move is just so powerful that alone carries it into being a solid choice. Snorlax, I'm going to be putting in niche. There are better defenders in the game, but Snorlax, with its, you know, its ability to wall or put someone to sleep, very strong, can be very disruptive, and I've definitely seen it affect games and win multiple times. You know, it's just a very good Pokemon overall, very tanky. Flail with the weakness policy is a very fun combination. You can just get a lot of damage and take a lot of hits. Definitely not bad, but you definitely need to play to its strengths. Gengar, solid choice. I'm actually going to put it below Charizard just because of how much counterplay is built into this Pokemon naturally. If the opponent has a full heal, Gengar really can't do anything to them. But otherwise, very high damage, and again, very high maneuverability, as we'll see a lot. It will be a running trend with these speedsters. Mr. Mime, S tier. I've seen some absolutely amazing plays with this Pokemon. Never underestimate a good Mr. Mime player. Here we get into Venusaur. Again, solid choice. But here's the thing you have to learn about Venusaur. Venusaur is not actually in this game. You are playing Solar Beam on legs. If you do not pick Solar Beam, Venusaur is F tier, one of the worst Pokemons in the game. That Solar Beam does so much damage. Petal Dance, I've literally watched it. It does almost nothing. That extra speed is not worth it for an attacker. You need to be putting out as much raw damage as possible, and Solar Beam has the range and power to do that. One of the best moves in the game. Gardevoir. This is a weird one. I'm going to put it in solid choice. Whoops. You know, also very high damage Pokemon. Very, very hard to hit those moves. And that's becoming more and more of a liability as the game moves on, as we see more consistent damagers being put out. But it serves a pretty fun niche, so it gets to stay there. Absol, niche tier. The crit is also pretty fun. You can do a lot of damage in a very short period of time, but sometimes you just don't get that, and you do nothing, and you get killed. Very strong early game though, as we'll see again with a lot of these Pokemon that don't evolve. Garchomp, solid choice. Slightly above average early game, to be honest. Gibble's not as bad as something like a Bulbasaur or a Squirtle. It can hit pretty hard. You're not going to be able to take out Lucario with that, but you're pretty good when you're as a lane buddy. When you pop off in the late game, you know, you're basically unstoppable. Lucario, yeah, meta-defining. They've nerfed this Pokemon like, what, 4 times, and it just will not stay down. It's too good. It's too strong. They need to stop this Pokemon. Crustle is a really interesting Pokemon. At one point in the beta, it was probably the strongest Pokemon in the game, but since then, it really hasn't gotten much to stand out from the crowd. Like, it really can't take objectives too well. Rock Tomb has always been one of the worst moves in the game. Stealth Rock is bad. You know, if I'm if I'm judging this Pokemon based on how I can see it going, you know, if someone who really knows how to use it, uses it well, it probably goes into like niche tier. But if I'm judging the Pokemon based on how I actually see it played, it's completely unviable. If you're running Rock Tomb, you know, you basically are doing more to hurt your team than to hurt the opponent's team. So I will stick it in niche for now, but you have to run X-Scissor and you have to run Shell Smash. Greninja is another interesting one. Like, it's definitely S tier, but I still think it's overrated, you know? So I've seen some really, really strong plays, but Greninja can get outplayed easily if someone has enough mobility, such as Talonflame. I'll stick it above Mr. Mime, though, because it is a lot easier Pokemon to use. Zeraora, oh yeah, meta-defining. Now we're getting into the good ones. Zeraora is a very strong Pokemon. People like to sleep on it. But that Spark and that Discharge, you can do so much damage. And the level 10, you know, not popping off until level 10 to get your Night Move is fine, because you're just always going to be several levels above anyway. This is how much damage you can do. This Pokemon is very strong. It's not as much strong as it was back at launch. It's a very powerful Pokemon. You shouldn't underestimate it. You have mobility and you have damage. You even have a little bit of AoE with that Unite Move and Discharge. Wild Charge is also very good, as long as you don't mind only hitting one target. Cinderace, solid choice. Not as good as it once was, but still like one of the best Pokemon for stealing objectives in the game. And that Flame Charge giving you that mobility, Power Ball just does a lot of damage. It's a good Pokemon, what can I say? I'm running out of adjectives. Cramorant. I've seen some crazy plays with this Pokemon. One of probably the highest skill ceiling in the game. I'm gonna stick it at the bottom of solid choice. I'm gonna put it above Gardevoir. It got nerfed 4 times, but they recently buffed it, and it did help a lot. Putting back some damage and lowering the recharge time on the Unite move makes this Pokemon a lot scarier. It's a very good user of the energy amplifier, I would say. Blastoise. Yeah, it's one of the best tanks in the game, let's be honest. You can eat so many hits. The Unite move, even after the nerf, is really scary. I've always been a big proponent of Hydro Pump and Surf, but Hydro Pump and Rapid Spin also very good. Not a big Water Spout fan, but I've seen it work. We're just gonna move Clefable to the back. Whoops. Can't remove it from the tier list, that's pretty funny. Lola Ninetales, solid choice. Just a good Pokemon. At one point, I've seen people argue it's the strongest Pokemon in the game. And just very good, you know. You get a lot of support. You get a boosted auto attack inside the Aurora Veil. Avalanche is bad. I'm a big... Any wall that affects your own team is a bad wall. So always choose Dazzling Gleam. And then Blizzard or Aurora Veil. Really tough, niche. Like, you can put Pokemon to sleep, which is cool. But you do good early game damage. And I've actually beaten Pokemon like Zeraora, Lucario, and 1v1s in the early game just because you put them to sleep and then you hit them. You know, I've seen Slow Smoke is a very good item with this Pokemon. You basically take one Pokemon out of the game temporarily. It's pretty funny. It's just not super overwhelming in the late game. You can pretty well ignore it. And suffers the same problem as Gengar. One full heal and you do nothing. Slowbro. At one point, I would have said it was the worst Pokemon in the game. It's completely outmatched in pretty much every way by almost any other Pokemon. It's the worst defender, it does some of the least damage, and just has basically no viability. At best, its Unite move takes another Pokemon out of the game to make it just as useless, but you don't really get anything done. Machamp is another high skill ceiling. I'm going to put it solid choice. Decent early and middle game. Definitely better than Gardevoir's. But you gotta really know what you're doing. You gotta go for the grabs, and that's gonna take away a little bit of your objective removing power, but just being able to temporarily stun someone. Very strong Unite move, does a lot of damage. You can just charge right into a crowd and punch them all away. Blissey. Blissey, this was a tough one to say. As a joke, I had made another tier list for some friends just so we could kind of compare ideas. And at the time I had put Blissey, it definitely needed a nerf. Or it definitely needed a buff, I mean. And at first I thought that's what it got. Tying Egg Bomb and Soft Boil together to share charges, but you get more charges, I thought was a really interesting idea. But then I tried it. It actually, and no, Blissey was actually like severely nerfed. Blissey is the worst it's ever been. I gotta put it's the worst supporter in the game. Like, they need to undo the change. Like, you should never pick Soft Boiled and Egg Bomb together. And you should pretty much always pick Helping Hand anyway. Egg Bomb does very little damage. The guaranteed knockup is nice, but Helping Hand is gonna be better for most situations. He basically just removed one of Blissey's moveset instead of making it better. Mamoswine, solid choice. Yeah, he's good. Very strong defender. A little light on the Unite move, but all the crowd control you get and the ability to freeze, very fun Pokemon to use, very strong. Yeah, I'd probably say second best tank in the game. Like, I think Blastoise just has more damage and probably a little bit more useful Unite move since it's an AoE. Sylveon is another interesting one, and definitely launch Sylveon, for those who remember, was completely cracked. Way too much damage, way too much everything. The only thing it couldn't do was it didn't have a lot of survivability. With the nerfing of Buddy Barrier, however, I feel like it's starting to come back into style. Like, it actually feels good again. That Hyper Voice is pretty strong, really hard to aim. I'm going to put it in top of B tier. Greedent launches as one of a very low middling Pokemon, got nerfed multiple times. I think it's finally taken the crown as worst Pokemon of the game. Just pretend it's not there, and it can do nothing, it can do you no harm. This squirrel is not very nuts. That was a terrible joke, I should probably cut that. I probably won't though, because that's meta, right? Yeah, I don't get why people keep putting this Pokemon so high. It is very weak, does very little damage, pretty much because it never hits its moves. Bullet Seed is a mess, Covet's a mess, Belt is a mess. But Stuffed Cheeks is about the only move this thing has that makes any sense, but just because you cannot die for a long time doesn't mean you're going to be winning the fight. Decidueye, very strong, very strong Spirit Shackle. You can do some pretty fun snipes. I'm going to put it in niche, because I think it could use more damage on those arrows. Leaf Storm also doesn't feel really strong. I feel like Razor Leaf is a move I really like. You just increase the power of your basic attack. It does need more damage though. Dragonite, meta defining. Again, a very strong Unite move with a very surprisingly short cooldown. Like, all-rounders in this game are generally very strong Pokemon. Dragonite's no exception. Hyper Beam is like a worse Solar Beam like Venusaur has, but Outrage is just incredibly strong. Your basic attack just does so much damage. In fact, if you're good, you can even get that Outrage to go again before you run out of cooldown and get stunned for a second. As for the second move, Dragon Dance is fine, but I kind of prefer Extreme Speed. It just makes your early game really strong. Very good Pokemon. I really like X Attack on this. I can almost see, I don't know, Slow Smoke just so you can keep them still. I just really like this Pokemon. Just very strong. I never felt too strong. It did get a little bit of a nerf, but it's just very good overall. Ah, Serena. Cue the scary music. It's the best Pokemon in the game, like by far. Nothing even comes close. It has everything. Shields, mobility, high damage. Like, it's not even that frail. Like, this Pokemon has gotten more buffs than nerfs. Like, Dropkick is definitely better in my opinion, just because you get that extra mobility. But like, Grassy Glide's not bad if you're really good, if you're in like a 5-stack. Dropkick is better in solo queue though. And then, Stomp is very strong, but Triple Axle just has too much damage, and you can move out, and you can stop him from escaping. Like, this Pokemon needs a nerf, and it needs a nerf like yesterday. Trevenant, solid choice. As you can, like, a lot of Pokemon are falling into solid choice, and I feel like if everything falls within, 2 tiers of each other, the game is about as perfectly balanced as you could want it. Trevenant has very low damage, but it can take an absolute pounding. I've survived fights I didn't think was possible, just because this Pokemon does not die. Like, this Pokemon does everything you would want Greedent to, but it does it better. Aegislash, it got buffed, but it's still bad. Like, it's not completely unviable. The Unite move, I feel like, could use a bit more range, probably even a bit more damage. It's just really hard when you have a one-attack move Pokemon and your other move is something supportive. You know, Greninja Greninja kind of gets away with it because its supportive move also just allows you to do more damage, but it's okay. It's not completely unviable. Hoopa, best support in the game. Like, it should never have been allowed to drag your whole team to one area. Trick Shadow Ball, best moveset, definitely. Like, maybe Shadow Ball, like Hyperspace Hole is okay as well, if you're really good in a 5-stack, but just stick to Trick Shadow Ball for solo queue. Duraludon, also one of the best Pokemon of the game. Like even with Dragon Pulse getting nerfed twice, Flash Cannon just does so much damage. It has in such a high range. Like, I don't think anything with this much AoE should have this much damage. It's borderline unstoppable. Azumarill, really wanted this one to be good. It's such a cool idea, right? Like, the ability to win any 1v1 because you just crit them to oblivion. But I've beaten it in 1v1. It's just, like, I need more damage. That's a lot of theme here you can see. Just more damage. You know, maybe in Eldegoss's case, more support to keep up with Hoopa. But yeah, just if you're not gonna have any crit in team fight, you know, you're basically always, it feels like you're always gonna be down in Zapdos or Dreadnought because you can't support very well. You know, maybe you can pick off some stragglers for that first Dreadnought, but you know, what are you gonna be doing? And a lot of its moves also have such high range that it kind of feels like a detriment to the Pokemon. Just like, I would almost say, like, make the moves worse than how they hit, but just make them hit harder. And then Espeon, yeah, it's a solid choice. It just has some good damage with some weird trickery. It's kind of hard to keep up with what it can do. Now, yeah, thanks for watching. That's been my tier list. Hope to see you all next time.